You know what's crazy? Every single day, thousands of salespeople across North America sit down at their desks, open their CRM, they see a lead that says new internet inquiry, John Smith, and they pick up the phone and say, "Hey, John, I see you were looking at a vehicle on our website. What can I help you with?" Meanwhile, John goes silent because John just spent the last 45 minutes on that website and he built a payment, he entered the trading information, he picked the color, he basically did everything short of signing the paperwork. And the first thing the dealership does is they call him and they act like none of that ever happened. I've been in automotive for over a decade now. Actually, I spent 8 years as a chief information officer working inside dealership and building their tech stacks. And I can tell you right now, that phone call, that's not a people problem. That's not a training problem. That salesperson didn't drop the ball. The system dropped it for them before they even had a chance. And today, I'm going to show you exactly why that keeps happening, what's actually going on behind the scenes in your CRM, and why the format your leads are written in, the actual language, that has not been updated since 1998. That's the year Google launched. Now, that is the tech powering your sales floor. If you work at a dealership, whether you're in sales, BDC, management, or you're the GM trying to figure out why your close rate looks the way that it does, this video is going to change how you see your entire lead flow. So stick with me, because by the end of this, you're going to understand something that 90% of people in this industry have never been told. So let's get into it. So here's where it starts. And this is the part that nobody talks about. Every time a customer fills out a form on your website or AutoTrader or Cars.com or Carfax, no matter where it is, even the manufacturer's own portal, that lead gets translated into something called ADF. And ADF is Auto Lead Data Format. That's an XML file. And if you don't know what XML is, don't worry. Just think of it as like a recipe card. It's a little text file with labels on it. You know, the first name goes here, last name here. You got the vehicle year, make, model, VIN number, email, and phone number. And that little file, that's what gets sent to your CRM. That's the lead. That's the thing you see when you open your screen in the morning. Now, here's the thing most people don't know. Like that format, ADF, that was created in 1998. It was finalized in the year 2000. And guess what? We're still using it. And we're using that exact same version. Version 1.0. Not 2.0, not 3, the original. Think about that for a second. In the year 2000, there was no texting, there was no blue bubbles, there was no smartphones. I mean, most people were on dial-up internet connection. Right? I don't think Facebook exists, Instagram, none of that existed. But that recipe card we used to deliver leads to dealerships, that was locked in right there. Now, I want you to hold that thought, because that alone doesn't explain why your leads are garbage. The format being old, that's not the full story. It's what the format was designed to do that really matters. And this part, I think, is going to change how you think about your CRM forever. When ADF was created, the people sitting at the table making the decisions, they were not sales managers. They're not like BDC directors. They were DMS companies. CDK, Reynolds and Reynolds. These are the dealership management systems. The back office system that handles your inventory, your accounting, your parts department, your payroll. And because those were the companies driving the conversation, ADF was built to serve accounting, not sales. See, the system was designed to log a record, check it against existing customer files, and make sure the inventory database stays clean. And that's why in the ADF format, the vehicle is the main object. The customer is basically an attachment to the vehicle inquiry. It was never about who is this person and what do they actually want and how do we help them right now. It was about which unit is this inquiry tied to, and does this person already exist in our accounting database? That design choice from 1998 is still running the show today, and the salesperson on the floor has no idea. They just say that the leads suck. But here's where it gets really interesting. And honestly, This is the part that made me want to make this video. So remember what I said about John Smith, that lead who built the payment on the website, they put the trading information, picked the color, and did all this work online? All that information actually did get captured. The digital retailing platform collected it. But when it comes time to send that data to your CRM, the ADF format doesn't have fields for any of that. Right? There's no like webhooks like how we do now. Like there's no tag for monthly payment preference, no tag for credit tier. There's no tag for trading information or a tag for like chat transcripts. None of that. The format literally cannot carry that information in a structured way. So what happens? All of that rich, valuable data gets dumped into one place. That is the comments field or the description. In the industry, we call that the junk drawer. It's like one big unstructured text block buried inside of the lead, and your CRM can't read it automatically. So there's no workflows that triggers off of it. It just sits there like a wall of text, waiting for somebody to manually scroll through it and hopefully notice that this customer already has a trading value in 172 months of 4.9%. Like nobody reads the comments field. Let's be honest. When you're cranking out 30 leads on a Monday morning, you're not reading that paragraph of notes. You know, you're looking at the name, the vehicle, and the phone number, and you're dialing. And that's why John gets the call. Hey, John, I see you were looking at a dealership and you were looking at a vehicle. And John goes, yeah, I already did all of this shit online. Did you not see any of that? And now you lost trust with a customer who was probably ready to come in. So that's not a training issue. That's a data issue and is built into the system. Now, some smart companies out there have tried to work around this. And I even did this myself. Like you build like a parser, something that can decode or scans the comment field and looks for specific words like monthly payment or trading value. And it tries to like pull that data into a structured format. And you know what? It works until it doesn't, because if the lead provider changes one word in the formatting, the parser breaks. Or like every time you get a new lead provider, you have to do the parser again for every lead provider. And nobody really understands how that works, or like why it breaks. It just silently fails. There's also like some new AI tools that try to solve this, and they use LLMs to like read messy ADF files and convert them to clean data. And to be honest, that sounds promising, but these are just band-aids on a 25-year-old format. It's like, you know, putting a turbo on a lawnmower engine. You can't make it faster, but at some point, you're just gonna need a different engine. Now, I'll come back to what that new engine looks like. But first, there's another piece of this that I think a lot of people in the industry are sleeping on. And it's not a tech problem, it's a legal problem. Your leads right now are most likely being delivered as plain text, SML, inside an unencrypted email. That's how ADF works. It gets emailed to your CRM. That email is not secure because there's no encryption. Customer names, phone numbers, email addresses, all of it, that text block, all of that's traveling across the internet in plain text. Now, in 2022, the FTC updated something called GLBA Safeguards Rule. I think it's the Graham-Leach-Brilley Act. And here's what changed. Dealerships are now classified as financial institutions because you broker credit, leases. That means you're responsible for protecting customer data the same way a bank would be. So sending ADF leads over unscripted email, that's technically non-compliant. And a dealership receiving thousands of leads a month in plain text is sitting on a massive liability. One data breach and you're looking at fines and lawsuits and all of that. Now, this is the kind of thing that doesn't matter until it matters. And when it does, it matters a lot. Most dealers I talk to don't even realize their lead delivery method is a compliance risk. And it's not their fault because nobody told them. Now, you might be asking, if this format is this old, this limited, and potentially this risky, why don't we just replace it? And that's a fair question, and the answer is frustrating, but it's important to understand. The short version is that it's a trap. I don't mean that dramatically, but it genuinely is, because the DMS providers have built what are called economic moats around their systems. If a modern CRM company or lead provider wants to connect to a DMS through a proper API, they often have to join a partner program and pay integration fees that can run over $30,000 per dealership per year. And this cost gets passed down to you. ADF sticks around because it's free to send an email. It bypasses all of those expensive API gateways, so vendors just keep using this old, insecure format, because the alternative is paying a fortune for the privilege of doing it the right way. And then there's the actual DMS switch. If you ever been through a DMS change at a dealership, you know people in the industry describe that as a heart transplant. Like, you're retraining every single employee, you're migrating decades of data, you risk real downtime, and it's never the right time, because when it's slow, well, you got to focus on when it's slow, you can't do it, and when you're selling a lot of cars, it's hard to do. So it's never the right time, and most dealerships would rather live with the pain that they know than risk the pain of switching. And I can honestly say that I don't blame them. So the whole industry stays stuck on the same version from the year 2000, and not because it works well, but because replacing it is so expensive, is risky, and nobody wants to go first. But now here's the good news, and this is what I get excited about. Things are actually starting to move. In January of this year, the STAR organization, which is the same group that created ADF in the first place, they published something called the Automotive Retail Domain Model. And it's a big deal. Instead of like that old XML recipe card, this new model is built on JSON and OpenAPI standards. And if you're not technical, just think of it like this. JSON is faster, it's more flexible. It's actually the language that most modern apps use. And JSON is faster, more flexible, and is the language that modern applications and actually AI systems actually speak. It's what your phone apps use. It's what every tech company in the world has moved to. This new model doesn't just fix the lead format. It creates shared definitions for everything in the dealership. Deals, service orders, inventory, all of it. And it's designed for the kind of systems that are coming next. Think about this. We're about to live in a world where your CRM doesn't wait for a salesperson to log in. An AI agent watches the lead come in and sees that the customer wants a payment under $500 a month, searches your inventory, finds 3 matching vehicles, and sends the customer a personalized walkthrough by text, and all of that is within 60 seconds. And before anyone at the dealership touches a keyboard, that happens. And that's not science fiction. That is what's being built right now. But it only works if the data coming in is structured, secured, and built for the sales process, not for accounting. And that right there is the whole point. For the last 25 years, the data architecture in automotive retail have been optimized for the back office. Inventory management, record keeping, accounting, and sales teams have been getting the leftovers. You get the leads after the DMS has processed them, filtered them, cleaned them for duplicate records, and by the time that lead hits your screen, it might be seconds late, minutes late, or missing half the information the customer already gave. In a world where 78% of car buyers go with the dealership who responds first, those seconds and that missing data are the difference between a sold unit and a lost opportunity. The dealers who are going to win in the next 5 years are the ones who flip this model, where the sales CRM is the brain and the DMS is the bookkeeper, not the other way around. So what does this mean for you? If you're a salesperson, if you're a BDC rep, a manager, you're a GM watching this, here's what I would take away. First, understand that the frustration you feel with your leads, it's real. And it's not your fault. The system was literally not designed for what you needed to do. That's not an excuse to give up, but it should change how you think about fixing the problem. Second, start paying attention to what data you're actually receiving versus what the customer already submitted. If you can go into the comments field, read the notes, there is gold buried in there. There's like little nuggets that a lot of people skip over. And I know it's tedious, but until the system catch up, that's where the competitive advantage lives. And third, if you're in a leadership position, start asking your vendors hard questions about how your leads are delivered. Like, are they encrypted? Are they compliant? What data is being lost in translation? These are conversations that separate dealerships that are just surviving from the ones that are actually built to compete. Now look, I built my company Devo, which stands for Dealer Evolution, specifically because I lived this problem. I've been inside tech stacks. I've seen new leads get mangled between the website and the sales floor. And what we do is we manage the entire BDC operation so that none of this stuff falls through the cracks. We put the right people on it with the right technology, and we make sure that every lead gets worked the way that it was meant to be worked, not the way that a 1998 XML file intended. So if you're a dealer principal or a GM and you want to talk about what that looks like for your store, send me a message, or I might have a link here in the description so we can have a conversation. We only take a few dealerships at a time because we actually staff your operation with real trained BDC reps, which are not an AI chatbot. This is human follow-up powered by the right technology. But even if you never reach out, I just hope that this video gives you something useful. I hope that it makes you look at your CRM a little different, because once you understand what's actually happening behind the screen, you can start making smarter decisions about how to fix it.